Let the living waters rise up in the valley that
Peace and
is
joy,
dry.
guys. Welcome back to another video, Drumheller Farms. And hey, today I want to talk to you guys about why we roll out round bales on our farm to feed our cattle. And well, where I'm standing should give you a perfect picture of why we roll out round bales. And look at it. This is the reason why. Look at the amount of manure that is evenly distributed around this whole field right here. You would think we came through here with a manure spreader, and essentially we did. About 130 separate manure spreaders that just put little pieces of black gold all over the place. Now some might say, hey, you know, you got to go through there with a harrow. You gotta spread all that manure out. And you know, I've done different studies of my own, spreading the manure out versus leaving it just the way it is. And personally, I have not seen a difference. I've seen no difference from doing it to one field to the next. The way I look at it currently, by leaving the paddy all intact, is you're providing a perfect environment for worms and bugs and all these things to get inside that paddy. If you go and spread that all out, you know, you lose that. You don't give that place for your bugs and your worms to come into and habitat inside there. Now, the other thing they'll say is, well, you've got lumps of hay everywhere and stuff like that, and the grass isn't going to be able to grow through that. Today is March 19th. Okay, I have not been on in a while. I've not made a video in a while. You guys probably noticed that. March 19th, I've never seen anything like this. We got grass growing here in south central Michigan, and this new grass is not being hindered by this hay whatsoever. You can see that it's poked right up through there. We've got, you know, about 2 inches of growth here already here in Michigan, which is just amazing. Now the last couple days we actually had snow yesterday after a couple 70-degree days, about a week of almost 70 degrees, and that's where this growth came from. So it kind of slowed itself down the last couple days here. It's gotten cold again. You know, areas like that, yeah, it's gonna take a little longer for that grass to come up through there. But what's happening underneath there? I mean, oh my goodness, it's just a beautiful area for things to happen underneath there. And you know, we're fertilizing the land like crazy. I'm walking us down here because I kind of want to explain to you how I did this field. You know, I didn't just come in here and start, you know, spreading hay out everywhere. It's not what you do. I've done that, and then you find yourself driving through a bunch of manure with your buggy, and it's just a mess. So what I did, my gate's over there. I'd come in off the road. First place I start feeding hay was up here on top of this hill. I worked this whole side of this hill all the way down like that, and then I went and worked this whole side over here. I start working it back and forth every day, rolling out. I'm rolling out about 3 bales of hay to this herd right now, okay? And so every day I'd roll a bale of hay out on clean pasture that they had not manured or eaten on yet. The next day I'd go move over, so on and so forth. So I started working my way across here. Then I went onto this side of the field, leaving this area for me to come into and drive across. Start working my way across here. The last place that I rolled hay out was the last 2 days we were in this field, and that was right down there. That was right down there where we'd come into the field, and then when we left the field, we went right through there and took them over to the next farm. When I roll hay out into a field, I will not stay in a field longer than 21 days. That's kind of the max that I like to stay into a field. And you know, ideally we would only stay in there for 2 weeks. That's even better yet. This particular field I was into, I think it was 17 days. I think we were in this field, something like that. And it worked out perfect. As soon as we were done rolling out the hay, we're on to the next one. I don't know how well you can see that next field over, but we did the same thing there. This is a nice little bird's eye view to show you just the amount of fertilizing and manure that we've put down. Now here's something to take interest in. Sure, you're seeing all the patties all over this field. Yes, you're seeing the leftover hay that they did not eat, which is fertilizer, the manure fertilizer. Something you're not seeing, all of the urine that was distributed on this ground. That is huge. Putting a ton of nitrogen down on this field through that urine. So I got another field we're working on, we're about done with. I've got one more section that's a little bit of a low area that we got some rain and I was staying away from that area, and now that it's pretty well dried out, I'm gonna feed today in that lower area before I move them to probably the last 2 fields of this season's hay feeding. In the cattle business, there's a ton of talk about sacrifice lots. You know, I talk about this every year, sacrifice lots. I had a guy the other day ask me, well, what do you do about your sacrifice lot? I don't have a sacrifice lot. I think that's the biggest scam in the cattle business, the livestock business, people talking about their sacrifice lots. I don't agree with them. You see our sacrifice lot. It ain't tore up. It ain't rutted up. It ain't dirt. It's got grass growing on it, buddy. Our sacrifice lot has grass growing on it already, and it's March 19th, and we're in South Central Michigan, for Pete's sakes. So there's no such thing as a sacrifice lot in this farming operation. Now, if you run your operation that way, so be it. But I could take you down to a guy's place down the road. It's got a pretty good sized herd of cattle, and on about 10 acres is all he's got there. And he's got about a 5-acre cornfield that he cornstalk grazed them this year for the first time. He's had that cornfield fenced, and every year I'm going, why doesn't he put those cows out there to cornstalk graze them and, you know, put some nutrients back on them, that cornfield? Well, he finally did it this year. I thought, great, he finally is going to put some manure and urine down on that cornfield. I went by there yesterday, and where he had his round bale ring feeders at, he's gone through with the front end loader and piled all the manure in piles, and he's taking it off the he's taking it off the field. I'm going, what is he doing with this? He's piling it up out back. I can't figure it out. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we you know, have sacrifice lots in the cattle business, and we take and let the cattle, you know, take one area, muck it all to heck, manure it all to heck, and then take that manure and go and spread it on the field that they should be in the first place. I don't understand it. You know, that's not what I do on my operation. I don't understand it. I don't know what else to say. I don't get it. It's not gonna work for me. I'm gonna keep my animals out on the land. I'm gonna keep them fed out on the land. They're gonna calve out there on the land. They're not gonna calve in a barn. That's why our calving season isn't gonna start till, you know, the last couple days of April, the first couple days of May. That's where you see nature do it. That's where it's natural. And you know, I'm not gonna put them in a barn and calve and do spring calving in you know, February or March. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna grab these bales. I'm gonna load up the bale unroller, and let's feed these cattle. They're hungry. All right, guys, this is the Greg Judy bale unroller, and you'll notice from previous videos I went back to the hand winch. Well, that's because somebody doesn't know how to take care of stuff. Farmhand. And my battery box and my winch basically was destroyed. It was destroyed by going way too fast through a pasture with frozen cow pads everywhere, and this thing bouncing all over the place and everything being broke. So I said, hey, for you, that electric winch was a luxury. Go on back to the hand winch there, buddy. So that's what we got here. We got a beautiful bale here. You can see this has been kept indoors. Some beautiful green, very, very green. Some alfalfa in there. And I believe this is like second cutting or something like that. So let's get rolling.
Where there once was fear, where there once was shame, let a flood of joy break through, let it overflow. In the valley that is dried up, let the living waters rise up, rise up. In the valley that is dried up, let the living waters rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. Let it rise up, rise up, let it rise. Let my life be found where abundance flows. Let my joy abound in my passion grow. Pour your spirit out, Lord. Let it overflow. Let it overflow. Let it overflow. Let it overflow. Let the living waters rise up, rise up, rise up. In the valley that is dried up, let the living waters rise up.
All right, guys, I'm on this last bale here, and I told you I'm feeding down here on this far side of the field, and I had to stay away from this down here. Normally it would be one of the first places I fed hay because it's the furthest from the gate that I'm going in and out of. But a couple things are in my favor. These patties aren't frozen, so you're not bouncing around in here. I mean, they are making a mess all over the buggy, but I had to stay out of here because it was wet. And you know, that's the advantage to feeding hay like this. That's the advantage that of rolling these round bales out with this little buggy, is the fact that I can do it without mucking the heck out of the pastures. Okay, you see people out there starting up a tractor, burning a bunch of fossil fuel, mucking the heck out of their pastures, and I'm coming out here and I'm feeding, about 130 head of cattle, all by just that little buggy right there. And I got 3 bales rolled out. This has in total taken me, probably somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes. I got to roll that one out yet, but very easy, very quick, very little labor. And you see they have not left this first bale that I put out here for them. This first bale is a beautiful bale. They're absolutely loving it. And this heifer here has turned into a dandy. Let me tell you, she's really something. But man, look at how green that stuff is. There's a bunch of alfalfa in there. You notice when I rolled out this bale that I went in reverse. I started rolling it, it was on there backwards. Greg Judy says, and he calls it pet the cat method, he wants to roll the bale out backwards because then it flicks the hay everywhere. The problem with that method for my operation is this. If I was to do that with this beautiful alfalfa bale, all the leaf that was left on this would be just everywhere. Like that right there is what we're going after. See that leaf right here? This is a beautiful piece of alfalfa. It's tender. It's got a beautiful tender leaf on that. That's where the most protein is in this bale. And so if you're running backwards and that hay is flicking all over the place, you're losing all the leaf off of the stem, and you've substantially decreased the quality of your bale. And I don't understand it. It doesn't make a difference to me. You see they're hammering on this bale. These guys are absolutely ham-towning this thing, and they haven't even left it, which is not typical to them. And so they're just going through and just mowing down on this thing. And look at that. He's getting himself a good mouthful there. You can see our manure pats are still good on a lot of these things. Good sign there. Nice little manure pat there. And you can see these mamas are pregnant. Guys, we have the calves back with the herd. We rejoined them after 2 months. 2 months of weaning, and they're back together. And I seen one sucking off of its mom. It wasn't getting anything, but it found its mother, and there was a strong enough bond that it went back to her, and it was sucking on the teat. Again, not getting any milk out of it, but it was still trying. You see what they left here? Look at this. This is all from that season-long stockpile. And when we open that up, man, it's just, I don't know. I think it's going to do something sweet. I don't know exactly what it's going to do yet, but there's a ton of it down there. And I think it's going to create a beautiful mulch to fuel this farm, because this is the first farm that we purchased, and this farm is the longest tillage farm that we have in our operation. This farm is just beat to snot. We would be better off taking all the cattle off here, turning this into a sand pit or a gravel pit. We'd make a lot more money. But boy, that heifer right there, she lost her tag. Look at, she's thick. We got some beautiful heifers this past year. Our calf crop this year, or I guess it would be 2024, is the best that I think we've had in many, many years. That's another nice looking heifer, I think. She's black, but it's all right. And here's our Winifred. How you doing, Winnie? Get, Blue. They letting you in here to eat, girl? Huh? Yeah, all right. All right, guys, let me show you what's going on with this bale unroller over here. Now, I am using a lesser quality bale on this last bale because of the beautiful hay that they fed them over here. So that's what I've been doing all year. One or two really, really nice bales and one of lesser quality. All right, here's where I was talking about that Greg Judy uses the pet the cat method. I can kind of see, what's the matter, 423? This way is the way the hair goes. This way, you kind of, it's the opposite way that you should pet the cat. And that's the way he likes to do them. He likes to roll them out that way. Me, I hook up to them either way, and then I figure it out once I start pulling it. If it needs to go in reverse or forward, doesn't really matter to me. But I don't like to roll them out like he does. I like to lay one mat right down on the ground and move it every single day. That was what works best for our operation. Hope this gives you an understanding of why some of us roll out round bales. You know, I had a guy ask me today, are you out on pasture yet? And I laughed. He goes, well, I see the grass is green. I said, yeah, a lot of people think that. As soon as it goes green, you put cattle out on pasture. And I'm going to tell you, if you do that, you're up for a heartache this summer, because you're going to be feeding hay all year. And, you know, feeding hay, I like to tell people, we graze 365 days a year. And we're hoping that about, 300 days of that is on grass. And I haven't quite made it to 300 days yet. We've gotten really close, but even if it's 250, 280 days of that year, being on grass, the rest of the time is grazing our hay. And the winter time is an extremely important time for our farm, because it's where we target areas of the farm to put nutrients into our soil through depositing the hay, what the animals don't eat, what's left over, and really selecting areas to really lay down the manure and the urine. One thing I didn't mention in that first field we went to, what's nice with us in Michigan is if you get some snow, you get an area where you've already fed hay, and then you get like 3 or 4 inches that falls, you could put more hay and manure on top of that, because you've got a layer of snow over everything at that point. So you can even target those areas harder, like the tops of hills and stuff, where that manure and urine is going to run down. So feeding hay and rolling out those round bales is extremely important for our operation. So hey man, I appreciate you guys watching the video. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I've been really busy. I'm going to explain that in some other videos, and I'm going to try to get a video of the new building that's going up so everybody can see that, and I'll kind of tell you some of the reasons why I've been so busy. So I appreciate you watching the video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like it, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless.